The 2025 NFL Draft has officially concluded, bringing a wave of excitement for new rookies across the league. But for several franchises, the real decisions are just beginning. While draft boards have been wiped clean and scouts are returning home, general managers are now entering the critical post-draft phase of team building, a phase often filled with trade whispers, veteran signings, and cap shuffling. One of the biggest names generating buzz in this next chapter is Atlanta Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins, and perhaps no team is being linked to him more aggressively than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Long rumored to be in the quarterback market, the Steelers came out of the draft without selecting a top-tier signal caller. While they did take national champion Will Howard out of Ohio State in the 6th round, that pick is widely seen as a developmental move rather than an immediate solution. Pittsburgh also failed to land Aaron Rodgers, at least so far, as the 41-year-old quarterback continues to weigh retirement or a potential reunion with the league. That leaves the Steelers in a familiar but frustrating position, a playoff-caliber roster without a clear answer at quarterback. Which brings us to Cousins. The 36-year-old veteran's name is once again at the forefront of trade rumors, and this time, it's Pittsburgh generating the smoke. While Cousins remains on the Falcons roster, his days in Atlanta appear numbered. After signing a massive 4-year, $180 million deal with the team just a season ago, Cousins found himself supplanted by rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr. midway through the 2024 season. Penix quickly took command of the offense, energizing the fan base and front office alike, and by the time the season ended, many viewed it as Penix's team moving forward. That leaves Cousins, with 2 years remaining on his guaranteed money, in limbo. Speaking on SiriusXM's Mad Dog Radio, Falcons general manager Terry Fontenot did little to silence speculation. While careful not to tip his hand entirely, Fontenot openly acknowledged that trade discussions are happening, and not just around Cousins. "We have to be patient there, and we always keep open lines of communication, not just about Kirk, but really about anybody on our roster," Fontenot said. "You know, we have a lot of those calls. I've probably talked to 6 or 7 GMs already since the draft ended, and they're talking about their roster." Fontenot's comments were measured, but the message was clear: Cousins is available, for the right price. And if it's not something that's going to ultimately help this team, we always have to ask that question: is it the best for the Atlanta Falcons or this organization? And if it is, we're going to be willing to do it. But all that communication is always ongoing, Fontenot added. Cousins' situation is complicated by the financials. According to multiple reports, the Falcons are seeking a trade partner willing to absorb a significant chunk of the guaranteed money still owed to Cousins, specifically, $20 million of the remaining $37.5 million. That figure has reportedly scared off several interested teams already, as absorbing $20 million for an aging quarterback coming off a torn Achilles isn't a decision any franchise can take lightly. Yet the Steelers may not have the luxury of saying no. While Pittsburgh made several notable offseason moves, including trading for wide receiver DK Metcalf and signing several defensive depth pieces, their quarterback room remains a glaring weak spot. Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson are currently the only healthy veteran quarterbacks under contract. And while Will Howard offers long-term intrigue, he's not expected to be ready for starting duties in 2025. If Rodgers ultimately decides against joining the team, Pittsburgh may be forced to pivot. And in that scenario, Cousins might be the only viable option left standing. From a football perspective, Cousins still has plenty to offer. Before his injury, he was playing efficient football in Atlanta, throwing for over 3,500 yards with 18 touchdowns and 16 interceptions in just 14 starts. His arm strength remains solid, his accuracy in the intermediate range is still among the best in the league, and he brings over a decade of starting experience, including playoff battles and multiple Pro Bowl appearances. He's not the type of quarterback who will carry a team single-handedly anymore, but in the right system, particularly one with weapons like George Pickens, DK Metcalf, and tight end Pat Freiermuth, Cousins can still be an effective point guard in the passing game. The biggest question, of course, is cost. Are the Steelers willing to eat $20 million in guaranteed salary for a player who might only be a short-term solution? That's the crossroads general manager Omar Khan now finds himself standing at. From a cap standpoint, the Steelers do have some flexibility. According to Over the Cap, they have roughly $28 million in available cap space following the draft, giving them enough room to absorb the hit without needing to restructure multiple deals. However, it would likely come at the expense of future flexibility, particularly if they're considering extensions for Pickens or other core players. But this isn't just a numbers game, it's also about direction. If Pittsburgh believes its roster is ready to compete now, then a move for Cousins makes sense. The AFC is loaded with quarterback talent, and the Steelers cannot afford to trot out a replacement-level starter if they hope to keep pace with teams like the Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, and Ravens. Sources close to the organization say internal discussions about Cousins have been ongoing since before the draft. While Rodgers was always the first choice, there is a growing sense that Rodgers may not return to football at all, and Pittsburgh may need to prepare accordingly. Those same sources indicated that head coach Mike Tomlin is open to the idea of bringing in Cousins, though the coaching staff would need to tailor their offense to suit his strengths, quick reads, play-action passing, and a balanced run game. That last point is critical. For Cousins to thrive in Pittsburgh, the Steelers must commit to giving him a reliable offensive line and a stable ground game. Najee Harris is gone, but Jaylen Warren has shown flashes of brilliance. The team also has a revamped offensive line unit and a defense capable of keeping them in games. The infrastructure is there. What's missing is a quarterback who can manage games, make the throws, and elevate the offense when needed. There's also the matter of locker room leadership. Cousins is known as a professional's professional, someone who studies the game, supports teammates, and leads by example. His presence in the building would be a boon for younger players like Will Howard, who could learn valuable lessons simply by watching Cousins go about his business. In that way, the trade would be about more than just 2025, it would be a short-term fix with long-term benefits. Still, the downside risk cannot be ignored. Cousins is 36 and coming off a serious injury. If he suffers another setback or simply declines due to age, the Steelers could be left with a $20 million mistake and a wasted season. That kind of misstep could set the franchise back at a time when they appear to be on the verge of returning to AFC contention. The decision will come down to risk tolerance. Can the Steelers afford to roll with Rudolph and Thompson while Howard develops? Or is Cousins the only quarterback available who provides a floor high enough to keep the team in the playoff picture? Right now, the answer leans toward Cousins. As post-draft trade season heats up, the conversations between Pittsburgh and Atlanta are expected to intensify. Whether a deal gets done may hinge on whether the Falcons are willing to budge on the financial terms or whether the Steelers can be persuaded to meet Atlanta's price. Either way, expect movement soon. The NFL calendar doesn't slow down after the draft. Minicamps, OTAs, and training camp are right around the corner. The Steelers need a quarterback, and Kirk Cousins might be the best one left.